Good day, Royals. Today, we are going to talk about psychosexual and cognitive theories. The things that we are going to study today has something to do with the behavior or attitude that you have developed. Sigmund Freud was the founder of psychoanalytic theory. His theories emphasize the importance of the unconscious mind, childhood experiences, dreams, and symbolism. It argues the human behavior is the result of the interactions among three component parts of the mind, which is the id, ego, and superego. Sigmund Freud's structural model of the psyche posits three interacting systems: the id, the ego, and superego. The dynamic interplay and conflicts among these entities shape an individual's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Balance is required among the components for optimal functioning. The id contains innate biological instinct and desires, and the superego internalizes societal roles and morals. The ego mediates between the demands of the id and the superego and the reality. So this is the balancer of these two behavior, the ego. And these are the example of the id, superego, and ego. Id means that, like a child, if he wants to get something, you want it right now. But if you're not going to give it to that child or the little one, then they will cry. And superego means you're thinking that the things that you want, it's not good. That is superego. You learn how to mature. And ego means maybe we can compromise. So you're thinking about the two behavior. The job of the ego or self is to balance the aggressive or pleasure-seeking drives of the id with the moral control of the superego. In Freudian psychology, psychosexual development is a central element of psychoanalytic sexual drive theory. Erogenous zone is characterized as an area of the body that is particularly sensitive to stimulation. So we have 5 sexual stages. The first one is the oral, second is anal, third phallic, 4 latent, 5 genital. And also fixation, it is the persistent focus on an early psychosexual stage. Until this conflict is resolved, the individual will remain stuck in this stage. And according to this theory, if there is a conflict and it is not resolved, then the individual will remain stuck from those following stages that we have here. Psychoanalytic theory suggested that personality is mostly established by the age of 5. Early experience play a large role in personality development and continue to influence behavior later in life. The stages of development is marked by conflicts that can help build growth of scaffold development depending upon on how they are resolved. Just like what I said a while back. If the psychosexual stage are completed successfully, a healthy personality is the result. If the certain issues are not resolved at the appropriate stage, fixation occurs. So that is the meaning, or that is the fixation. And now let's begin with the first one, the oral stage. So it means here that you're the child, or you at this age range from birth to 1 year old. So the erogenous zone is the mouth. This one, the mouth. So your pleasure seeking is through the infant's mouth during this stage. They like to put things in mouth. So as you can see, those child or those infant, they like to use their mouth to eat something, even if that thing is not eatable. Also, they suck their thumb or other parts of their body. The infant or the infant's primary source of interaction occurs through the mouth. So the rooting and sucking reflex is especially important. So in this stage, the most important thing is the sucking. And if fixation occurs at this age class, Freud believed the individual would have issues with dependence of aggression. Oral fixation can result in problems with drinking, eating, smoking, or nail biting. So if it is not resolved successfully, they may bring this at their adult age, like sucking their mouth, smoking, drinking, and so on. And next, let's go with the next stage, the anal stage. In this stage, the pleasure-seeking centers are located in the bowels and bladder. Children begin potty training. At this age, the range of this is 1 year to 3 years old. So the erogenous zone is about the bowel and the bladder. The anal stage is the major conflict at this stage is toilet training. So as you can see in the picture, the child must learn to control their bodily needs. Okay, so if they want to poop, they need or they must go first to the toilet before pooping. And developing this control leads to sense of accomplishment and independence. If parents take an approach that is too lenient, Freud suggested that an anal expulsive personality could develop in which the individual has a messy, wasteful, or destructive personality. So if they are not being trained by this stage, then they may become messy or wasteful, something like that. And if parents are too strict, if they are too strict, Freud believed that an anal retentive personality develops in which the individual is stringent, orderly, rigid, and obsessive. So those are the person who are OC. No, the OC means they want clean area. They don't want that their area are too messy, something like that. It's balanced. So next, let's go with the phallic stage. So the range of the age of this one is 3 to 6 years old. So the erogenous zone is about the genital. Children begin to discover the differences between males and females. So they now know that if they are a boy or they are a girl. So they know how to know what is the difference between the two. Next, let's go with the fourth one, latency stage or the latent period. So this age range from 6 to puberty. Erogenous zone is about sexual feelings are inactive. So the sexual things, they feel it at this stage. So in this stage, children develop social skills and find comfort in family and peer interaction. So they will learn how to uh, talk to somebody else if they have problem. They can talk to them. They can open up. They can open up whether it is a boy or a girl. They can share their feelings. So the fixation at this age can result in immaturity and inability to form fulfilling relationships as an adult. So if this is not developed, um, they may be hard to open up themselves or themselves to other people, and also it results to immaturity. Next stage is the genital stage. So the age range is puberty to death. The erogenous zone is about maturing sexual. So at this stage, it develops a strong sexual interest in the opposite sex. This stage begins during puberty but lasts throughout the rest of a person's life. So the onset of puberty is demonstrated by showing strong interest in another person of the opposite sex. During the final stage of the psychosexual development, the individual develops a strong sexual interest in the opposite sex. This stage begins during the puberty but lasts throughout the rest of a person's life. Now, let's go with the next series. It's all about the psychosocial theories. So this is Erik Erikson. He is the founder of psychosocial theory. Erikson's psychosocial development theory emphasizes the social nature of our development rather than its sexual nature. He may be most famous for coining the phrase identity crisis. These crises are of a psychosocial nature because they involve psychological needs of the individual conflicting with the needs of society. The theory of psychosocial development by Erik Erikson and includes 8 stages of personality development. And each stage, a person faces a certain conflict and as a result, develops a particular quality or skill. These are the 8 stages. Number 1 is the trust versus mistrust. 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt. 3, initiative versus guilt. 4, industry versus inferiority. 5, identity versus role confusion. 6, intimacy versus isolation. 7, generative versus stagnation. And 8, ego identity versus despair. So let's begin with the first one, the trust versus mistrust. During this stage, the infant is uncertain. He doesn't know things about the world which they live and looks towards their primary caregiver for stability and consistency of care, the mother. They are dependent to them and reliable to them. And also, it develops hope, optimism. A loving, trusting relationship with the mother or caregiver to feeding, teething, and comforting. But if it's failure or it's the caregiver fails to do that, it resolves to confliction about sensory distortion and withdrawal. Next, let's go with the next one, the autonomy versus shame and doubt. Okay, so this is 18 months to 3 years old. Um, it's all about self-control and will. The autonomy is the ability to control their bodies and environment. Developing skills, toilet training, walking, manipulating objects. The shame and doubt about develop when the child is shamed or forced to be dependent in areas in which she or he is capable of independence, compulsive, impulsive. So this is the result of that one. Okay, the autonomy is positive, the shame and doubt is the negative one. Next is, let's go with the initiative versus guilt. So this is from 3 to 6 years old. Children are active and have powerful imagination. So the initiative about dependent decision making, about planning and doing various activities. So this is positive. But the guilt is the negative one. Develop guilt for their desire of independence, ruthless inhibition. And the next stage is the industry versus inferiority. So this is from 6 to 12 years old. Industry versus inferiority. It's about confidence. They gain real adult skills. They gain real adult skills, reading, writing. So the positive about the industry, motivation to keep learning and practice. So they are motivated to do more. They want to be productive instead of just wanting to play. When not encouraged to work and learn skills, feel inferiority. So if that is not developed and they are not discard, or if they are not encouraged to do this one, they will feel inferiority and unmotivated. The conflict between these two, what they should do and should not to do. School learning, interaction with peers. So, and also the child can learn how to encourage herself to motivate himself or herself and not to be inferior to other peer or to other classmates or to the other people. Next, let's go with the identity versus role confusion. It's all about adolescence. It's the fidelity. The identity means is characterized by integration of personal values with those of society, a clear sense of self in multiple roles, and by making choices about the future. That is the negative, that is the positive thing about this stage. A healthy identity, one's organization of individual drives ability, beliefs, and experience into a consistent image of self. But the confusion, failure to establish an individual identity, if we feel that one, separate from the family and having no peer relationships and plans for an occupation. So they will lose hope. They will lose how to dream for themselves, dream for other people, because it is not developed, that the skills that they have um, It's not developed at all. They are confused with the things that they want to have for themselves. For themselves. So that is the identity versus role of confusion. Next stage is the intimacy versus isolation. So it's about the age range here is the young adult or 20s. It's all about love. Form identities and start looking for close reciprocal relationship. So they want to go to other people to reciprocate the love that they are giving. Intimacy develops when the person creates a mature relationship with a partner. The isolation is inability to create intimate relationships. So that is the meaning of this stage. Next is the stage 7, the generativity versus stagnation. The range of this age from middle adulthood. It's all about care. Primary development task is one of the contributing to society and helping to guide future generations. The generativity or the positive things about this is they are concerned of establishing and guiding the next generation. So they want to guide the next generation for them to be good, for them to know how to advise the soon-to-be next generation for them for the for the next generation for them to be able to be independent with themselves and also to teach that as well to the next generation. Promote well-being of others. The stagnation or the negative thing for this stage is the dissatisfaction with the relative lack of productivity, parenting, educating, productive social involvement. So the last stage is the ego integrity versus despair. Okay, the age range for this stage is the senior 65 and over. And it's all about wisdom, our sense of satisfaction with life well lived. So that is what this stage talk about. The integrity means when a person develop wisdom over a lifetime and can look back and see a life of meaning. So they will if this at this stage or at this age, they are going to look back with the things that they do for themselves and also for others. If they if that is good, then they will also reflect their life or their attitude that they use with that certain time. That's why they are being successful right now. And this despair, the negative meaning or the negative factor of this stage, if this is not fulfilled, it's all about despair, a sense of not accomplishing one's goals or values, and it is too late to do anything about it. So if they are going to reflect with the things that they do from the past, they are going to regret. So that's it, class. I hope that you learned for today. Goodbye.